All right, y'all. Man, we are live with some audio, but nonetheless, we are live, baby, on this beautiful Monday afternoon. God bless everybody in Jesus' name, in the name of Yeshua, the Messiah. And the only thing I have to say here, guys, is, no, we're breaking down from a massive bear flag from the all-time high, heading right down to $63,000. I'm very scared. I'm so scared. I've already soiled 3 pairs of trousers while we were waiting for the countdown. Okay? This is very scary stuff. This is extremely scary stuff. Alright? Shout out to everybody in the chat as usual. We will be giving away $1,000 if we can get 1,000 likes within the first half hour. Guys, I'm in a long trade right now, alright? I'm long from 86,233, alright? We've got ourselves a golden pocket just below, alright? And Bitcoin is taking a dump, man. Bitcoin is taking a crazy dump here. You know, we're going to see what happens. We are going to wait and see what happens, alright? We got to give a major shout to everybody in the chat. Shout out to VizXD2422. Fake out to wreck the longs? Question mark. Maybe. You know, this is a very key zone. I'll be honest. I don't like the fact that we are losing this. All right. But we are coming right now to, like, this is the macro golden pocket 786 zone from the low to the high. I would not like to lose this, honestly. Otherwise, I think we're probably going to go for $80,000. You know, there also is the 786 just below this liquidity here at around 83.7. But, yeah, it's not looking the best right now, guys, I'll be honest. All right. Shout out to Joseph. He says, yo, my man. Shout out to S-Car. Shout out to the Roblox Rush. Forgot to put my stop loss and it cost me $1,000. I am so sorry to hear that, man. That's the worst. Jason paid for his plunger with Bitcoin. That's for sure. Shout out to Investment Time. Shout out to Museman SM2NW who says LOL. And we got to give a major shout to the super chat from Samuel S44. God bless you, Samuel S44. Guys, smash up the likes if you like to win money. The egg code for today is Cantaloupe. Also, guys, I have to remind you, if you want to trade Bitcoin and altcoins, I'm currently trading on WEEX. I am currently trading on KCEX, lowest deal on fees, link in the pinned comment in the chat and the description. And also, I'm trading on BLOFIN and ZoomX. ZoomX right now offering amazing prizes to trade with Jason Casper. Okay, also guys, if you want to join the best trading community in the world, you can go to jasoncaspertrading.com and click the link. Now, Bitcoin, as you can see, is sinking down towards the golden pocket from the low to the current high. We are just skating along the area. We have a lot to talk about today, guys. A lot to talk about. All right, we are in for a wild ride for the next few weeks. It's going to be extremely volatile. It's going to be crazy. People going to get wrecked and people going to get rich. People going to get wrecked and people going to get rich, baby. First of all, fear and greed index, guys, at 16, extreme fear. This is down quite a bit since last week when it was 20. All right, last month we were 10, but we are back in extreme fear. All right, wow, would you look at all these beautiful hammer strength machines here? Make me want to spend my money. You know what? I might go for the belt squat. I might go for the belt squat. Crypto fear and greed index hit 16. Extreme fear cuts into Bitcoin and XRP. Oh my goodness. Sounds pretty scary, doesn't it? It does sound pretty scary. All right. The crypto fear and greed index, which lets us know how investors feel about crypto, fell all the way down to 16, which is back in extreme fear. Now, when the index is low, it means, how does the index determine people are scared, they're selling and or not buying? All right. This can put more short-term selling pressure into the markets. However, to be honest, we know that when we are in extreme fear, that typically means we are in for a bit of relief. The last time we saw fear this low, guys, it was April 2025, which gave us the rise to the all-time high. Now, again, this is not a metric you can use to take a trade, but it is a metric we can use. Oh my goodness. Here we go, guys. We're hitting into that golden pocket. Let's see what happens here. All right, let's see what happens. Can we get a little bit of a bounce? Let's see. We're going to go for it. All right. It's not a metric we can use, guys, to take a trade, but it is a metric we can use to say, you know what? When the market's extremely fearful and sellers get exhausted, we could expect a little bit of relief, and we have to recognize the last time we came down to this level, it was right here. Literally, right here. And then when we made that lower low, that was the opportunity of a lifetime. Well, the opportunity of a month or so to get a 70% pump on Bitcoin. All right. Crypto market news today, December 15th. Bitcoin loses 90K heading into its yearly close. Is it officially over? When we take a look at the yearly chart for Bitcoin, guys, I'm going to take a look at the 12-month time frame here. All right. The 12-month time frame. This is intense. Okay, this is very intense, and I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. All right, let's remove all this stuff. Guys, this is not the best looking yearly candle close in the world here. And we might be breaking our pattern of 3 blue, 1 purple. 3 blue, 1 purple. I mean, we have been having this pattern of 3 blue, 1 purple for quite some time now. You can see if we go back, you know, we got the old 3 blue, 1 purple. 3 blue, 1 purple. We were expecting this to be a blue, and it's not too late. It's not too late. It's never too late. We still have 16 days left. All right. But the question is it officially over? Is it officially over? Bitcoin trading below 90K as the year winds down. The market is quiet. Volatility is not very much. We're not seeing a lot of money come into the market, not necessarily. Economic uncertainty in places like Japan, you know, Japan and their rates and all this. Things are not looking the strongest. All right. And people are waiting for clearer signals before they start to make a real move in crypto. And like I said, this could be a pattern change that we have seen literally since 2015. So that is quite significant. All right. Is the 4-year cycle broken? That's the question we all need to keep on the back of our minds. But in the meantime, some bullish news, all right, because we know Bitcoin and crypto is bullish in general. And look, while we're here on theblock.co, there's an advertisement for WEEX, which reminds me, guys, if you want to trade Bitcoin and crypto, head on over to WEEX using the link in the description, and you can get some good deals on the fees via signing up under the Jason Casper link. All right, this is a little bit bullish in general. All right, JP Morgan launches tokenized money market fund on Ethereum. A money market fund, if you're unfamiliar with what that is basically just a way for you to put money into a fund that makes you a lot of percent gain. You know, money market funds are good. I think you can make like 4 or 5% a year doing nothing. They're pretty low risk. They're extremely low risk. And JP Morgan launching a tokenized money market fund on Ethereum. This is bullish for Ethereum. As you guys know, I am bullish on Ethereum, even though the short term doesn't look the best. I believe the long term is very bullish. So basically, the fund is backed by $100 million in starting capital. It's using JP Morgan's Onyx blockchain division and connects with its tokenized collateral network, which helps institutions move assets quickly. And it's designed for institutional investors and not retail traders. So why does this matter? Well, this is another instance of a real-world use case for Ethereum. And it shows that institutions, including good old JP Morgan, are adopting Ethereum for real financial products, right? It's not just an idea anymore, it's actually happening. This obviously can open the door for more tokenized funds, bonds, and assets. And because JP Morgan is putting traditional finance onto Ethereum, I mean, this is a major step, in my opinion, for the future of finance, which we know for certain is blockchain. All right, this is why I am not concerned about Ethereum looking so dang bearish in the short term here. This is why I'm not concerned about ETH never hitting my targets to the upside of 5.5K, 8K, and 10K, because it's inevitable. It's inevitable. All right. If JP Morgan is using the Ethereum network and just normies are going to start putting their money into Ethereum without even knowing it, That's good for Ethereum, man. That is pretty dang good for Ethereum. All right, so let's take a look at the Bitcoin chart here. We're going to start on our weekly, guys. The elephant in the room is the fact that, well, we have confirmed the weekly hidden bullish divergence on ETH. We have confirmed the hidden weekly bullish divergence on ETH. All right. And so basically, this historically has given us about a 45% move to the upside. Now, it's only Monday, guys. False move Monday. But remember, as we watch this happen here, even in the bear markets, these green dot confirmations, they do give us big moves to the upside, even if they are accompanied by volatility. Now, I want to take a look at the first green dot of last bear market. All right, what happened after that dot confirmed? Well, basically, we ended up with a pullback of about 18% before getting a move to the upside of about 40%. And overall, from the bottom that was put in, we ended up with a move of about 45%. We have never printed a green dot, especially one this low below the zero line, where we haven't soon after seen a very big move to the upside. And we are right now in extreme fear while we are currently confirming some pretty bullish signals on the chart. When we go down to timeframes like the 3-day, you can see that we've confirmed the hidden bullish divergence here, but now we've got a red dot. What is this setting us up for, guys? If we look at the 3-day, it's very similar to the way it looked back here. All right, back here. What? Yeah. What is going on? Here we go. It's very similar to how it looked right around this. Wait a second. Gotta go to the 3-day. Man, TradingView is messing me up, man. Very similar to the way it looked right around here. All right, where we put our bottom in, but then we started to get the red dot, which allowed us to come down a little bit lower. It ended up giving us the coveted uneven butt cheek pattern, right? A very big, large, extra large cheek on the left, followed by a very small cheek on the right. Okay, big on the left, skinny on the right. Right? In fact, I think we could superimpose the cheeks onto the chart. Yeah, we can superimpose the cheeks on the chart. And if we stretch them out, eventually we could have said, look, if we get another dip to the downside, we'll have bullish divergence, and that'll probably give us a move to the upside. Well, what do you know? If we close off the replay mode, that's literally exactly what happened. We ended up getting the uneven butt cheek pattern, big move to the upside. All right. So that is something we should be looking for right now. Something else we should be looking for is, simply put, a higher low, which becomes more unlikely as we lose where we're at right now at the Fibonacci golden pocket down toward the 786. But there is a chance that the low is already in, and then this is where we get a higher low. And so, yeah, I'd say we have some pretty macro bottom signals right now, signaling for some relief to the upside. Some relief to the upside. Could this be all we get? I mean, I feel like the chances are pretty low that this is all we get with a weekly green dot. But time will tell. Time will tell. Now, I'd say as we are coming down to this area, we need to remember that, you know, this is a major support resistance flip. We're coming down to the bottom of a very large sideways range. And so, yeah, I'd say it makes more sense that even if we come down into this box, that we do get some kind of a relief before more downside. And I'm still going to hold to my bias of 2026 being bearish, sideways and down for the first two-thirds of the year. Based on our 2-month time frame, based on our confirmed 2-month bearish divergence, which always has marked the top, based on our monthly momentum on market cipher being below the 60, which always signals the top. Doesn't mean we can't still range here. Doesn't mean we can't come down, come back up, chop around here. Eventually, I think 2026 is going to be marked by sideways and down until around the summer or the fall, where we get our next big move back to the upside. And in hindsight, it's not going to look that crazy. It's just going to look like we traded sideways for a little while before continuing in a super bullish trend that Bitcoin is obviously in. All right, so we've got our high time frames. Then we come down to our daily time frame, and here's the problem. All right, this is where things do get a little scary. We do have a hidden bearish divergence right here at the last high we made at around 93.7, around 94K. And yeah, that is giving us some movement to the downside here. And we are currently, like I said, coming to our last kind of hope of support. I'd say the zone between the golden pocket and the 786 before going for the low at 80K. All right, so that is where we are currently at. Let's see what Bitcoin is doing. We're trying to get a bounce from the golden pocket. It looks like it's not working so great. All right, looks like it's not working so great. I accidentally closed my short, by the way. I was in a short trade. Yeah, I guess it was this one here. I accidentally closed it today. I didn't mean to close it. I meant to take profits on a long... I was in a long trade from yesterday. I meant to take profit on a long... I ended up closing out a short. All right. This is a short trade I'm currently in. This is a long trade I'm currently in. These are two longs I took today, trying to catch the knife. Obviously, I took 2 losses on those. All right. So, overall, the last week of trading for me, pretty dang good. I mean, in general, I'm up about 7.5K on the week. And let's see what happens as we continue, you know, in this chopping area. I do have this long open. Obviously, I'm being a little conservative with my stop loss here because I know this is an important zone to look for. All right. So that's kind of how I'm playing it. Obviously, I'm still in the short trade from the setup that was given in real time in the Casper crew from the exact top, which is currently up right now, $35,000 in profit. And yeah, our next target for this is going to be around $63,600, the target of the bear flag. The reason why the target's so low to the downside is because this is a swing trade, guys. This is a swing trade, so I'm looking for those big old moves. And the reason why $63,000 is the next target here is because if we do not make a higher high and we only make a lower high, even if we get some relief here, I will look at it as an opportunity to actually add to that trade. Like, even if we get some relief here, I do expect that we're probably going to come back down eventually within 2026 and tap into the support resistance flip from this area, which is also, if we take a look at all the volume that traded here, going to be basically the value area high, also to the POC of this macro range. And if we take the fib from low to high, that's also going to be our Fibonacci golden pocket right in that zone here. And so this is really going to be our next major target in the event of a bear market, which I do say all signs are pointing towards. All right, now just to recap on the high time frames, I expect sideways and down for the majority of 2026. Medium time frames, I expect that we can have some relief based on our weekly time frame. I expect that relief could be up to 45%, potentially bringing us up to around $115,000, $116,000 before making a lower high and coming down even lower. That is kind of what I'm looking at right now. Now, we got to take a look also at ETH. Remember, guys, we are not done with Bitcoin right now in a sense that things are not that horrible until we start to not hold $80,000, right? Because right now, remember, I would compare this chunk of price action to what we saw back in March and April, where we have like a pretty clearly defined sideways range to be looking at. And as we come back down toward the low here, we probably will be seeing some really bullish signs, right? Probably enough to give us some good relief to the upside, given the bottomness of the weekly, right? So no need to get ultra bearish now. Not yet. I know we're breaking down from the bear flag. All right, I know we're breaking down from this trend line. But remember, these trend lines are kind of like, you know, we can't take them too seriously, guys. We can't take them too seriously. What's more important than this, I'd say, is the sideways support and resistance. And so, you know, I wouldn't, in the worst case scenario, I would expect maybe something like this, like a back test into the Fibonacci golden pocket zone, back test the trend line, and then get lower. I'd be very shocked. I honestly would be very shocked if we were going to just fall through this like a hot knife through some room temperature butter because we're coming down to very, very important support. All right, which brings us to our ETH chart. Yeah, so ETH, guys, ETH is also trading within this kind of, you know, this broadening ascending wedge, and we're still holding our higher lows here. All right, we're not out of the woods yet. We're not out of the bearish or bullish woods, to be honest with you. Now, we know that we had a real potential for a squeeze up to $4,000. I would honestly like to see ETH hold higher lows here. I would like to see ETH hold higher lows. Could we come down and get a nice fake out like that with the bullish divergence? Yeah, we could. But I would really like to see ETH hold the higher lows here for a continued move to the upside. It would look a lot less strong for ETH because of the fact that we started to squeeze and we couldn't even do it. Now, of course, when we take a look at the weekly time frame, we have also confirmed the green dot. Again, these confirmed weekly green dots, guys, I mean, if we have to lean bullish, on these weekly green dots. It's irresponsible not to, because we can backtest the weekly green dots, guys, and see that pretty much doesn't matter, bull or bear market, when you have a nice bottom on the weekly, it means the bottom is very near. All right, let's even in a scenario like this one, like let's just go to this one here where the green dot confirms. The green dot confirms up here, okay? And then we get a big drop. The bottom was very near, all right? The bottom was very near. So again, the weekly green dots are not meant to give you a trade right now, but they are meant to let you know that you got to be careful feeling ultra bearish when the momentum is so bottomed out on the weekly time frame, because there has really never been an instance in Ethereum history where a confirmed green dot doesn't mean that the bottom is very near. And if it doesn't mean the bottom is in, it means the next low is the bottom, right? It means either the low is in or the next dip is going to be a fake out for some relief to the upside, at least some relief to the upside, right? Like, let's take a look at the first green dot of the last bear market was right here, okay? When that happened, the low had already been in. We got another red dot in the weekly, but we made a higher low. And from that higher low, we pump up of about 54%. And from the low that was initially put in, we pumped up almost 70%. All right. So I would, once again, I would be very shocked. It doesn't mean it can't happen. But based on historical data, I would be very shocked if we don't find some kind of consolidation or relief from around this level of 2,500, just based on the historic bullishness of a bottomed out weekly here, even in a bear market. Okay, if we can hold this area, then I still would say that the $4,000 ETH is a level that is reasonable, because again, we have all this beautiful area to squeeze. If we make a higher low here, it would look much stronger. If we make a lower low with some nice bullish div, it could honestly give us a really nice move to the upside. Remember, fear and greed right now is very extreme fear. We've already seen so much selling on the way down. If we start to make another lower low, you can only imagine how fearful and how much selling is going to happen, which sets us up nice for a nice relief. If we can reclaim $4,000, then of course I think 5,500 is on the table. Definitely 4,000 would be a nice target number one. If we pull the Fibonacci from the high to a potential new low, that's also going to be our Fibonacci golden pocket coming in right around there. Like, if we were to bounce up to 4,000 right now, it literally is our golden pocket, our 618, to the dang dollar. All right, to the dang dollar. Shout out to Splashfire. He says it looks like we will take the lows. All right, so Manuel Brink, he says someone's going to be shocked. I would only imagine, like, yeah, I have to say, I would literally be shocked. I would literally be shocked if we don't find a bottom soon. That would be the first time in all of history of Bitcoin and Ethereum that this signal did not result in some relief to the upside. It would be the first time ever. All right, we have right now a 100% chance based on historical data. So if this is the first time in history, that will shock me. That will shock me. But let's see. Let's see. Shout out to Crypto KL. Shout out to Ben. He says 80K next seems probable on Bitcoin. 80K next seems probable on Bitcoin. Bitcoin done a lot of first things this year, though. That is true, says Siggy. Bitcoin has done a lot of new things this year. Shout out to Tony Punch Aether Media. Hey Jay, may you and your family be well and prosper. My Cuban cousin's brother. LOL, much love and respect, bro. Much love and respect to you. Shout out to Baru 7561. Nothing has changed. Repo is still empty. Joe says been in a bear market for a while, ever since QT started. Shout out to Make Me a Millie. Looks like we might roll over holding my shorts. Yeah, it looks like we're not really getting that bounce from the Fibonacci golden pocket, which is a little bit disappointing. Let's take a look at some lower time frame market cipher B quickly here on Bitcoin. We're going to start on the 1 hour. Still a potential bullish divergence on the 1 hour here as we are at a golden pocket. 24-minute money flow looking decent. Bullish divergence ever so slight as we are at the golden pocket. 12-minute. Technically speaking, we have some bullish divergence here as we come into the golden pocket. Money flow looking good on the 12. All right, looks like another dip could give us more bull div here. Let's check out the 6. 6 looking a little bit scary here, but nonetheless, some bull divs as we tap into the golden pocket. Can we get a little bit of relief here? The 4 hour looking not so great here on the momentum waves. Money flow decent locally on the 4 hour as we are losing this level. Now, again, this is a very important level for your boy Jason Casper. All right, which is why I'm currently in a long here in the red right now. Currently in the rojo. All right. Looks like this bounce is definitely not happening right here, guys. You know, looks like this bounce is not happening from the Fibonacci golden pocket. All right. Let's take a look at the order flow and see what's happening right now. We'll go to the 15-minute time frame. Lots of shorts opening up here. Wow. Would you look at this? Would you look at this? 10 million shorts in one candle. Another 12 million shorts in one candle. Another 2.5 million shorts. Wow. Amazing. Amazing. We've got 20-something million shorts opening up here. Big decrease of CVD. Big increase of open interest here. Look at the net shorts coming up like crazy. Look at the long trades that got absolutely squeezed on the way down this morning. And now you can see we do have some trapped longs who longed this first low here that are still in their positions. Honestly, looking at this order flow, it makes me think the low is not in yet. All right, it makes me think the low is not in yet. It makes me think we can get another dumperoni and cheese to the downside here. My goodness, oof, it's looking quite rough. It's looking quite rough. Oh my goodness, guys, this is sensational and scary as the chart says. Ah! All right, we are scared. We are uninformed, scared YouTubers here. That's what this is. Could you play the Progressive Night Drive music from 2023? Oh, yeah, man. I forgot about that. That was some good music. Yeah, that was some good music. Wreckfest incoming. Do I trade on multiple exchanges? Yeah, I do. Do I think this level has gotten weaker the more times that we've tapped it? Well, what level are you talking about? This exact level here? I guess this is a pretty historic level, isn't it? You know, I haven't really thought about it because I've been looking at this level as the macro golden pocket. But the one thing that is concerning to me is the breakdown of this. If we close the daily candle below this level, man, it's not going to be looking the best. I'll tell you that much. It's not going to be looking the best. Shout out to Lauren. Am I seriously long? Yeah, I'm seriously long right now. I'm long right here. I'm long from 86,233, and we're currently 85,680. All right, I'm currently in the long trade. All right, let's check it out. Yeah, look at that. My entry is resistance. My entry is resistance. Oh, wait. This is not my entry. This is the golden pocket. The golden pocket is resistance. This was my entry here. All right. Entry up here. It's time to cut off the long. Now, I'm not going to cut off the long. The long will stop me out for about I think a $500 profit, which is fine with me, to be honest. That's it. You're going long. Look, don't let me, don't let me influence your decisions. Okay, don't let me influence your decisions. But let's put on our 0.65 here. Let's put on our 0.65. See where we're at. We're in the middle of a golden pocket right now. We're in the middle of a golden pocket right now. Where's my TP? 500K. 500K. I have a short one from 91. Is it wise to hedge long here? Look, you do what you want to do. I cannot tell you what to do. All right, you got to do what you want to do. All right, I've been making my own decisions here based on my own trading, my own position size, my own trades, my own profits, all this stuff. All right, my own capital. You got to do what you feel is best for your own trading plan and your own trading psychology. I mean, both of those things are important, right? There's no golden pockets in a bear market. That's true. There is no level here, says Cryptorific. Okay, I guess I must be hallucinating. It happens. The hallucinations happen, guys, especially when you're a crypto YouTuber. All right? Banks are in serious trouble. Please, we need you to wrap, short wrap, or pump wrap, or whatever. Win Lambo? Oh my goodness. Well, my Lambo just got repoed. My Lambo just got repoed. Sadly. Yeah, I'd say, look, if this zone doesn't hold between the 786 and the 618, then we are most likely going to take the low from Friday, November 21st. And to be honest with you, it doesn't really look very well right now. It doesn't look good at all right now. All right, it does not look good at all right now. Shout out to Dano Crypto. He says, get me on. We will get people bullish. We'll have to have you on at some point, bro. Shout out to Dano Crypto. What's going on, my bro? Good to see you. Did I long 100K at 5X? I don't remember. I may have. I don't remember. Relief rally incoming, says Woody's. That's how I feel as well, man. That's how I feel as well. But, you know, obviously, it's not happening right now. It's obviously not happening right now, all right? Yeah, I do have a Kubota. Kubotas are nice tractors, all right? But here's the thing. Out where I live, and I didn't know this when I moved out into the country, but Kubotas are not welcome here. At least not in 2018 when I moved out here. I know that John Deere was the one you were supposed to have. I didn't know this. And then John Deere castrated himself and turned into a tranny. And I don't know if that changed the view of all the farmers out here that hate those foreign Kubotas and only like the American-made John Deeres. But it's hard to say because, look, you know, everything flip-flop. I feel like all these companies flip-flop their... all these companies trying to get political, they're always flip-flopping depending on who's the dang president. You know what I'm saying? It's like if there's a lefty, everyone's like a trans all of a sudden. And then when Trump's back in, everyone's like, yeah, enough of that gay stuff, man. I never liked that tranny stuff anyway. But I'm pretty sure John Deere like turned super gay for a while. But they're probably back to being straight. You know, the old political flip-flop. The old company political flip-flop. I don't know. Why do these companies feel the need to like get involved with dang politics? You know? It's weird. It's weird. It's almost as weird as sexuality getting involved with politics, but everything's about identity politics these days. Right? We need to herd people into these little groups so they can all hate each other and not realize that really it's just the dang banks that are trying to steal all your money and make you broke and poor and put you in a smart city on universal basic income while you eat plastic pellets. But, you know, that's beyond the scope of this video, right? What we really need to focus on now is this Bitcoin dump, baby. We got to focus on this Bitcoin dump. How is the liquidity on Antarctic? The liquidity on Antarctic is getting better and better, all right? It's a very new exchange. The iOS app has just officially launched, all right? So, yeah, it's getting better and better. Remember, this is a DEX, all right? But give it some time, and it will be the best. All right. Shout out to Woody's 1017. How many chickens do I have so far? I don't have very many chickens right now. All right, a lot of them died. You know, I think I have about 20 chickens right now. Did John Deere cut his Jacobs off? Yeah, he did. He did, you know, but they might have grown back, okay? Do I hill potatoes a roof stout method? I've done everything. Right now, I put down fabric, landscape fabric, and I put the potatoes in the holes in the landscape fabric and then cover it with hay. So it's kind of like a roof stout. Yeah, the Clip Cult says universal basic income in smart cities would be very good for some people. Yeah, I know that's part of the problem, honestly, is that we live in a society where smart cities and UBI would be good for a lot of people because, unfortunately, most people don't have the skills to provide and survive on their own, and they need the government. So, yeah, for a lot of people that would be good, but sadly, for freedom, that's not good. That's not good in the long term, right? That's really not good. But we already live in quite a socialist society, at least in the United States. I mean, every boomer's on socialist security when they get old. And like, it's just very strange. People expect a lot from the government. But that's not the way it should be, honestly. It makes life easier, but look, freedom comes with responsibility, hard work, and discipline. If you really want to be free, you got to be willing to put in the work. You got to be willing to have less than what you want, unless you work really hard to get as much as you want. And you can't expect anyone else to be there for you. You know, it sucks in some ways. Maybe if we invested in education instead of military. Well, I like to think that would be beneficial for society. However, it seems like the more... Never mind. If the spending goes into education, it can't come from the government. It cannot be government spending on education, right? Because if the government's in charge of education, they're going to be training people to be idiots, right? Freedom, says Crispy209. Freedom. Shout out to Hugh Jazz 1231. Guys, we'll get back to 90 before Friday, you think? Look, I don't know. All right. I don't know. I do not know. If we're going to bounce, it's either going to be from this zone between the golden bog and the 786, or we're going to get the bounce from the low down here. All right. But if not, we could see the rest of the week be bearish, you know? I don't know. It is a Monday. False move Monday. False move Monday. Why, when you talk about Zcash, it goes down about 5%? Well, I think because it's the only thing that pumped, right? The only way for Zcash to go was down. You know? Wajib says, you can tell that Jason Casper is truly a racist because no matter how much he talks about religion, he can't say, yes, we should stop funding wars. Oh, I just said it. I said, yes, we should stop funding wars. You heard it, guys. Jason Casper is a racist. All right, he is a racist. First of all, you can tell he's a racist in two ways. First of all, the color of his skin. Second of all, he talks in an accent like this. He's obviously making fun of other races who talk like this. Jason Casper, stupid idiot racist, probably a baby boomer. Look, if you're a baby boomer, it's okay to be a little bit racist. They all are, okay? Baby boomers, you know, the socially acceptable racism from their day. They just talk about it all the time. Did Orange Man screw everyone downhill since inauguration? Well, look, it is quite interesting to look at, you know, the past Bitcoin, right? And take a look at, you know, what happened under Trump. 2016, we had a giant bull market, right? And then 2018, we entered into a bear market. And then the last year of Trump, well, no, actually, and then, yeah, so pretty much for Trump, we had 2 years of bull, 2 years of bear. Biden, man, excellent under Biden here. Big move to the upside under Biden. And then Trump doesn't come along until right here. So, you know, it's interesting. Like, Biden gets in office when? Down here. Right? Biden's in office, Bitcoin pumps. Trump's in office, Bitcoin sideways. I don't know. Look, I'll be honest with you. I don't think presidents have anything to do with the Bitcoin price, all right? That's my personal view. I think markets have cycles. It doesn't matter who the president is. The real issue with the economy is fiat currency, the Keynesian deficit spending system, which inflation's never going away so long as we're in this economic system. And so long as the Federal Reserve continues to devalue the dollar by printing fake money, not backed by anything, that's the problem, okay? That's the real problem. It doesn't matter who the president is, all right? It doesn't matter who the president is. During Donald Trump's last presidency, the dollar supply doubled, okay? The dollar supply doubled after the vid, while Trump was president, because of the stimulus money. All right? That's why inflation got so bad under Biden. Biden continued the same kind of pattern. All right? But the point is, it doesn't matter who the dang president is. All right? They do not give a crap about you or your money or your business or your kids. All right? They do not. Doesn't matter if they're orange and they say we put America first, or if they poop in their pants and they put China first. It doesn't matter. All right? All these issues don't matter. The main issue is the funny money. The funny money that's not backed by gold. You're getting screwed no matter what. no matter who the president is. Yeah, presidents don't matter. This is my view. Presidents do not matter at all, honestly. I know some people have a different view. I don't think they matter at all. In my personal view, you cannot become the president of the United States unless you are handpicked by very wealthy individuals that control the money. Unless you are handpicked by very wealthy individuals that control the money, you cannot become the president of the United States. All right? You have to be chosen for the job. You have to be chosen for the job. That's my view. Could be a good time for a short-term long. Well, I'm in this long right now, and I'm hoping this golden pocket gives us a little relief, baby. I'm hoping that the golden pocket gives us a little bit of relief. You only like President Satoshi Nakamoto. Who controls the money? The central banks control the money. The central banks control the money. And so, if you don't, well, we could go down that road and the central banks control the money. Shout out to preparing for war, and sadly, I believe you're correct preparing for war. Like, I agree 100% that sadly, Bitcoin will just be another controlled, manipulated asset. Sadly. But it doesn't mean we can't make money. Where's my stop loss on the long? I don't want to show it, okay? But it's a little bit loose here. Alright? It's a little bit loose, as you can see. I don't really want to show my stop losses because I'm concerned that people are going to wick me out, because I know the chat is the market maker. All right? The chat is the market maker. All right. Well, there's no stop loss. Guys, make sure to smash up the likes, all right? Because we got 1,200 people in the house, but we only have 300 likes. And we were trying to get 1,000 likes so that we could give away $1,000. 1,000 USD, baby. Now, just a quick reminder, guys. The egg code for today is cantaloupe. All right, cantaloupe. All right, so make sure to, if you want to get your eggs, use the word cantaloupe. And yeah, that's all I have to say. That's all I have to say. So guys, I'm going to head out. I love you. God bless you. Peace.